Well, good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. For months, you've watched politicians and journalists assert with confidence that last November's election was, in fact, a sham. It was not a wake-up call to the political elites. It wasn't a cry for help from a crumbling American heartland. It certainly wasn't a sign that a ruling class is corrupt or a government is in need of major reform. It was none of that. It was instead a fluke secretly engineered by the Russian government because they're evil and they hate our values.
Any kind of collusion with the Russians.
And then there's the Russia investigation.
We know the Russians were involved in interfering with the election.
How do you explain the Manafort allegations as anything but collusion?
I'll say it again. This Russian connection just keeps building, and every time it builds and expands, you have to wonder if Trump himself isn't worried about what's swirling around under the covers.
CNN has learned new details of the FBI investigation into potential links between individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russian government.
Specifically, Willie, I think what it means is that a federal judge found that people in Trump's organization were colluding with the Russians.
And here we go.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Holy shit. What a weekend. Holy shit. Sorry. Welcome to the Common Sense and Random Shit Show. Me, your friendly neighborhood conservative ex-con Fernando Rivera Jr. Barack Hussein Obama. Guilty of treason. What a crazy weekend, huh? What has transpired? What has happened? What craziness has this country come to? Yeah. Conspiracy theories, yet again, proven to be fact. Huh. What can I say? Everybody else is saying it. And I'll be honest, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Holy shit. But there is, man, listen, breaking news. This is not the place. Maybe it is. Maybe there's something you haven't seen yet. Maybe I'll say something you haven't heard or haven't thought of. Maybe. It is what it is, as I always say. But of all the coverings I saw this weekend, over the weekend, with the hero, patriot, Tulsi Gabbard, put out, there is but one that stuck in my head. And it's Kevin Corke. Something he said that had me thinking. So obviously, I have a video. Watch this. And then, of course, I added my own stuff at the end, which is something that our president also shared over the weekend. President Trump is this shit. I just got to say, check this out.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nicole Sapphire, along with Kevin Corke, Katie Pavlich, and Tom Shalhoub, and welcome to the Big Weekend Show. The big story tonight. Obama-era officials could finally be held accountable for their role in the Russian hoax. President Trump's Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has now released declassified documents exposing how all these members in the Obama administration suppressed key intel to create a false narrative about President Trump and Russia. Gabbard is turning over all the documents to the DOJ for criminal referral. And Kevin, what do you actually think is going to come from this? What is the end point? Are we looking at prosecutions? Or are we just looking to try and change the narrative over that? Because in my opinion, at this point, after the 2016, the memo, the 2017 report, the 2019 Mueller report, the 2020 bipartisan Senate report, everyone kind of has their settled opinions at this point. And I don't think that anyone's going to change their mind. Like, what are we looking for here?
I think you nailed it in that respect. And there's an old saying, there's a reason the windshield is much larger than the rearview mirror. Where is your attention focused? However, I think Katie really nails it when she says, if you don't fix this problem now, it will happen again. And there's something else here. There used to be this sentiment in Washington that basically said, you know what, you don't want to get in this idea of prosecuting high-level officials. It creates instability for our institutions. But the fact is, I remember a mugshot of the president now So I think that really, you moved the Rubicon. I think, frankly, there should be some prosecutions associated with this, and I'll tell you exactly what you said. If you do nothing, if you just talk and have hearings and sort of flap your wings, that does nothing to stop them from doing it again. That's why somebody has to walk the plank.
God bless America, place I call my home. God bless America, land I know and love. Home of the brave and land of the free, in my heart and soul. God bless America, God bless my home.
Like that? Yeah, I had to edit the end of that. Obviously, Trump shared that, which was the shit. That is the shit. Imagine that, a president that does shit. I mean, shit, man. That's American as ever. Okay, first of all, I'm just, a grain of sand in a big beach. I'm a nobody. An ex-convict, ex-gang member who just has common sense. Genius? This guy is not. But I can smell bullshit. And even though I had TDS, not because of what I thought or believe, well, I believed the liberal media, because before I knew what liberal media, left-leaning, right-leaning was, I just hated Trump because I believed the media. Then I woke up, the real wake up America. This guy said, you know what? And as I said before, my boss from this job where I'm sitting right now said it. He said, Fernando, you're smarter than that. Look into shit, do your research. And I did. And I woke up, which the rest of America is waking up. But something Kevin Corke said, all this shit about, political enemies, there's a mugshot right now, still. And it's hanging from, what is it, right before the entrance of the Oval Office? Because Trump is a badass. I would do it too. But that moment where he's sitting in front of Obama, piece of shit, it reminds me, yes, I'm a grain of salt, nobody, of when I was a gang member and I was a high-ranking president, big time. I was actually bigger than the president. And when I had an issue with a traitor or someone who I thought was a piece of shit in the organization that would bring negativity, whatever position they may be, president, vice president of the gang, of the chapter I was in, I would always call them in front of me. Like that picture, or like what just happened in that AI video. But think about it. This is what I used to do. This is how I was. I would call them ahead of me and say, okay, what's your problem with me? If the problem was with me, what's your problem with the family? If it was a problem with the family, what's your problem that you are doing things the way you're doing or have done? And 99.9% of the chance of the time, being who I was, highly respected, and a very high-ranking gang member, I got the truth out of people. And my thing was, when these people used to admit their bullshit, their treachery, their traitorous actions, or whatever it may be, more than half the time, I would be like, you know what? You're man enough to admit it to me. I'm going to forgive you. But if it ever happens again, you're going to regret it. I that's what kind of person I was when I was in a gang. I didn't want to just beat up everyone and kill people and all that shit. But there were times where something, I'm not saying one died on my request, but there were times where it didn't go well for the other person because they just did not want to stay away from the bullshit and just keep going with the negativity. And I had to do what I had to do, or order what I had to order at the time, or whatever. But that right there, that AI, that's what I think should happen. I honestly believe Trump should have him come to the Oval Office, sit down with him, just like that video, and ask him why. Straight up. Ask him why. We know you did it. Why did you do it? We have an idea why. TDS, power hungry. But the world wants to hear it. Or your excuses of why you did it, or you're defending yourself. We want to know personally from your mouth, not in front of the liberal media or press. Go sit in front of Trump and explain yourself. Shit, us low-level piece of shit gang members, me, when I was a gang member, I did it that way. I didn't care. I didn't have Secret Service around me. Yes, I had some protection with people around me because I wasn't stupid. But I used to ask, why? Explain to me. Well, I mean, and you know what bothers me more than anything, and I'm sure it should bother you. The liberal media is complicit. Anybody that defends now after this weekend, and there's more coming, just so you know, I'm sure you do. The liberal media and all their nonsense that us conspiracy theorists have been saying for years, including Tucker, that should wake you up to everything. Anything after that, Hitler, Nazi, threat to democracy, rapist. Everything should be erased if you have common sense, if you love this country. Everything that liberal media has been pushing out, including all this Russia hoax bullshit, this should be just, I mean, anyone that is on the other side right now, especially if you're American, after what just happened over the weekend, you're traitors. You don't love this country, and you have no reason whatsoever to feel the way you do if you have anything negative against our president right now. It's just, you know, it's all been bullshit. It's crazy that this is happening. And I always said, Tulsi Gabbard, you know, I'm a big defender of her. Plus, I'm secretly, I'm just saying. But patriots, and now they're, you know, of course, the liberal media is trying to, you know, talk shit about Tulsi and degrade her experience and obviously push away. But Democrats, liberal media, they should literally be shut down. And I'm not talking about censoring. I'm talking about sued. I'm talking about Americans should just totally speak up. Those of you who watch everything what's going on, transpired over the weekend, and were on the other side, this is your moment to walk away. Your moment to run away from all the bullshit. There's no way you should be defending all this. Anyway, I have one more video because this guy is a clown, and I thought it was funny as shit. The United Spot. Let me see. Is it the United Spot? Yeah, it is. Anyway, you gotta laugh because all this shit is...
Here's a story of a guy named Barry who was spying with some very dirty friends. There was Brennan, Rice, and Clapper at the center, pushing all their shady friends. Here's a story of a man named Comey with McCabe and Peter Strzok behind the scenes. They were framing while pretending they were righteous, using lies and fake machines. Till the one day when they all began colluding, and they knew they had to try and stop the Don. So they cooked up Russiagate and phony FISA. That's the way they all became the Berry Bunch, the Berry Bunch, the Berry Bunch. That's the way they became the Berry Bunch.
Funny as it may be, it's a fact. The Berry Bunch. Man, I'll tell you right now, a lot of people should be going to jail. A lot of people should be arrested. No more bullshit. No more bullshit. Of course, I got to go to another section of my show because today's all about the bullshit that's going on. It has transpired. Let me go here, then here. Remember this? I always wondered, this is from Michael on X. I always wondered what Trump was thinking during this epic mugshot. Now I know. See you soon, mother effers. That was pretty ghetto that way. I said that. Hold on a second. This spot over here looks kind of empty. So, random shit on X. Even though it's not random, you already know. Breaking news? Maybe. Let's see. Today is the day. I'm just saying. All right. Obama's treason. Arrest Obama. New Ben Garrison cartoon. Tulsi Gabbard is the director of national intelligence, and she found the smoking gun. Concrete evidence that Obama and his crew of miscreants created what is now known as the Russia hoax. It clouded Trump's first term and cost taxpayers nearly $50 million, ending with Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller exonerating of Trump, President Trump. Well, almost. Mueller said that the Russia hoax allegations might be true. It's just that he had no evidence. The question now is, will Bondi do anything? Trump won his first term to the chant of lock her up. Hillary committed a spate of crimes, but was given a pass by James Comey. Trump refused to pursue charges. She was not locked up. Will anything happen this time? After all, it's the biggest scandal in our nation's history. If the Democrats are allowed to get away with weaponizing government institution against political adversaries and stomping on our Constitution, they will certainly try to do it again. Just saying. Come on, Pam. Go after Obama. Go after his people. Arrest them. Arrest somebody. Think Obama should be arrested and sent to Gitmo? Then let us know by sharing and replying. This is graphics Ben Garrison. Cartoons. Yeah, perfect. A nation can survive its fools, but it cannot survive treason from within. An enemy at the gates is less formidable, for he carries his banner openly. But the traitor moves amongst those within the gate freely. He rots the soul of a nation. Cicero, I believe that's what it is. That's James Woods who posted that. MAGA Army, I am sick of all the evidence against Democrats. And no handcuffs. Just saying. One bad dude. We could run away to Kenya. I hear you have family there. Shut up, Joe. Breaking. Listen to this. Rep. Eli Crane. I demand that she continue. Yes, so do we. Breaking. Democrat Rep. Jim Himes demands that DNI Tulsi Gabbard stop releasing information about the Russian collusion hoax. Of course they do. Of course they do. Now this, Trump just posted this. Let's hear this.
This is not speculation. This is documented fact. For years, they told us Trump was the threat to democracy, but the real threat was the attempt to remove him. On December 9, 2016, inside the Obama White House, a classified meeting took place. Present were CIA Director John Brennan, DNI James Clapper, FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, and several senior officials. Barack Obama was there, and what they discussed would become the most coordinated political deception in U.S. history. Just days earlier, an internal intelligence community report concluded Russia had not altered the outcome of the 26th election. On December 7, DNI Clapper reaffirmed it. Quote, foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on critical infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome. End quote. But that wasn't the story the Obama administration wanted. So after that White House meeting, Clapper's executive assistant sent out an email. The order: prepare a new intelligence assessment, one that aligned with the president's request. That's right. Intelligence was politicized at the highest levels under the direction of a sitting president to frame the incoming one. They buried prior reports. They inflated the Steele dossier. They reversed conclusions. And they launched the January 6, 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment, used to trigger investigations, media hysteria, FISA warrants, and ultimately impeachment. It was a soft coup. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has now declassified the emails, memos, and reports. In her words, this was a treasonous conspiracy orchestrated by Barack Obama and carried out by key members of his administration. General Flynn calls it the greatest crime in American history. Others are demanding arrests, indictments, and immediate action from the DOJ, because if this stands, our constitutional republic falls. We now have names. We have documents. We have sworn testimony. No more theories, only accountability. My friends, we are all anonymous, and we speak for the silenced, and we are awake, and we are everywhere, and we will not stop until the truth is reckoned with.
Just saying. You know, the crazy part is, Tulsi said that there are whistleblowers, and there's going to be more. Holy shit, more than what we already know. It's some crazy shit. Democrats deleting all of their "no one is above the law" tweets. All right, let's see this. Just in case anyone was in doubt, here's an explanation. Can I read this closer? Because I'm blind as hell. This doesn't help much. Collusion is when an attorney general meets in secret with the spouse of someone under investigation. Yeah, she did that. Collusion is when the media provides questions to one candidate in advance of a presidential debate. Yeah, they did that. Corruption is when a political party conspires with one candidate to block another candidate in their primary. Yeah, imagine that. Collusion is when a sitting president wiretaps the candidate of the opposing party to help their opponent. I wonder. Collusion is when government officials leak classified information to the media to smear a sitting U.S. president. Shifty shift. Collusion is when an FBI director hands out immunity to persons involved in a criminal investigation after they destroy the evidence. Imagine that. Just saying. Wanted. Yeah. Vince Langman. John Durham spent 4 years and $10 million investigating the phony Russian collusion hoax. And all he found was one low FBI attorney changing an email for a warrant. In less than 6 months, Patriot Tulsi Gabbard, DNI, has uncovered a conspiracy to overturn the 2016 election by Obama. Remember this?
We need to figure it out. But here is what's important. Put the investigation into Trump, his associates, and everybody else to one side. There is no denying that the Russians interfered in the election. Right. Whether or not they had willing or unwitting help from the Trump team, they interfered, and they did so to help him and hurt me, and they did so to destabilize our democracy, and they have not stopped. I mean, there's been enough public testimony before Congress now by very distinguished, experienced intelligence professionals who all say the same thing. This is a clear and present danger to our country. Yeah. And I think it's important, and I would say this. If the roles were reversed, if I had won the Electoral College and I were in the White House and the intelligence services, I've served with them, I've worked with them, I've read their analysis, both on the Senate Armed Services Committee and as Secretary of State. You know, they don't always get it right, but these are patriotic, hardworking, dedicated men and women. And if they had come to me and told me, You know, we believe that this election was interfered with. We believe that it was influenced, and we believe they are still trying to get into our systems. I would have stopped at nothing. I would have stood up and in front of the country said, even if it advantaged me, I am not going to rest until we know exactly what happened and make sure.
James Woods, watching this old hag getting her butt rubbed by these sycophants is not much more sinister in light of the treason revelations delivered by the Director of National Intelligence. What was once merely laughable is disgusting. And this woman is disgusting. And so are these hags clapping along with her. Chicago, arrest Obama, arrest Biden, arrest Clinton, arrest Schiff, arrest Comey, arrest Brennan, arrest Clapper. Oh, arrest Strozak. Can't even say that. Arrest Rice, arrest Powers, arrest McCabe, arrest Rhodes. Yeah. Creation of the Russia hoax. What he said. Are you going to hold your breath, weaning on an apology? Let's see who still holds Obama on a pedestal. It will reveal their true character. Let's see. I've shared this guy's stuff before.
There's a report going around right now that Obama knew about the whole 2016 election Russian cover-up thing. Gather round. So, in other words, this is just not another oops, we made a boo-boo in government. This is Barack Obama knowing that the Russian hoax was faker than a fucking stripper moan at 2 a.m. and still pushed it. So, breaking it down, Obama's intel people, his own boys, briefed him right after Trump got elected and basically said, hey bro, yeah, Russians didn't change shit. They tried some meme warfare.
You know, I want to keep hearing this, but the copyright thing, because there's background music there, I wish I could. I've already got a strike the other day because I had to. I think I'm on appeal because I'm like, and I don't even know if it was ScrewTube. Maybe it was. I'm not sure. Or Facebook. It's one or the other. But yeah, probably YouTube. That's why I don't go live on YouTube anymore. I'm going on 3, Facebook, which sometimes with the bullshit, X, and Rumble. So if you haven't, please subscribe, please follow, please share, please write me. My email will be in the description, or is if it isn't yet. And you already know. So sorry, I wish I could hear it, but look this guy up. She reposted this actually, Michelle Maxwell. MAGA Nancy. It's not enough to recirculate this as news. Obama, Hillary, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, Schiff, Strozak. Every single one are guilty of treason and must be charged.
President. Highly critical, biased text messages between senior FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page.
There will be no question about the outcome of this election.
And she got ahead of herself. This utterly stunned this campaign.
Head home. You should get some sleep. We'll have more to say tomorrow.
Our constitutional democracy enshrines the peaceful transfer of power.
The peaceful transition of power is one of the hallmarks of our democracy. We want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, then the country succeeds.
See this piece of shit? This is the moment. This should be another moment. I'm telling you. Trump, I'm a nobody. And I don't have the best past. And I'm not a genius. But I have common sense. That little show. You should call him up in front of you and ask him in front of the world why. We know why. But you really should. But who am I?
These declassified documents that were just released.
Officials in the Obama administration were asking for the identities to be unmasked of Americans.
Unmasking of aides and staffers of the incoming president.
The basic charge, political spying.
To disrupt the peaceful transfer of power.
Unmasking of American citizens. It could be a real problem.
Why is it that the unmasking of Flynn somehow ended up in the pages of the Washington Post?
I know nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn.
The vice president said that yesterday, and then the last name on this list is Joe Biden.
The Obama administration was bitter. They wanted to do everything they could to undermine the incoming Trump administration.
Really designed to sabotage
and really upend the new administration.
An outgoing president and a vice president and a Washington Post columnist and the FBI setting up an incoming administration. Wow. That's a real conspiracy, and nobody wants to talk about it.
Remember when Barack Obama said no one's above the law?
People to be cruel and divisive and racist. And it frays the fabric of our society. And it affects how our children see things. And it affects the ways that our... You've got the education department.
I don't want to hear this guy.
To give...
Obama's treasonous communist liar that enjoys luxury beachfront mansions while telling everyone they're racist, climate change deniers. Yeah.
And the good news is that you have candidates to vote for in this election that demonstrate that kind of character, who know what real strength looks like, who will set a good example and do the right thing and leave this country better than they found it. So, Pennsylvania, that is the choice in this election.
In 2015, the gates of hell were unleashed by Obama. This is the biggest crime in the United States of America, and I'll feel vindicated when Barack Obama is in handcuffs, being escorted from his house and brought to jail. General Flynn.
Yeah. First of all, my hat's off to Tulsi Gabbard. I think Tulsi Gabbard just demonstrated a level, as I said this morning, of courage, commitment to being just absolutely transparent, which is what this administration has said from the beginning, and just getting to the truth. This very important meeting, it looks like, on December 8th is really the piece of data that I think has now been exposed to really allow everybody to connect the dots. As I said early this morning on my X post, basically I laid back out the plan, which was 8 years of Obama, 8 years of Hillary, and Steve, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation. And so once, enter summer of 2015 and so on and so forth, and Donald J. Trump wins the election, as you well know, in November of 2016, then, all the gates of hell were unleashed by Obama. And that's what we now know. Now, it's not just Obama. Of course, it goes back to the summer of 2016. And actually, what we're learning from this is actually goes back to late 2015, probably December 2015 timeframe. So what I want people to know from this is that there are going to be other names that have never been really exposed, people over at the National Security Agency, others inside of the FBI, others in the CIA that are going to be in big trouble here, because now that we know where it began, and it really did begin with the direction and intention of Barack Obama, that is going to open up so much more evidence. And as I know Tulsi has been doing for a number of months now, they've been culling through all this evidence. And that's why you saw recently the open investigation on Comey and Brennan. That's just the first shot across the bow for what I'm calling either, you can call it a counterpunch or you can call it a counteroffensive. But President Trump, you got to believe he's fully aware of all this. This is why, I think the last few days and maybe weeks, you've seen a level of frustration. And it doesn't mean that, everybody's off the hook on some of the other issues that we're dealing with. But this is the biggest crime in the history of the United States of America. As I said, I think it was yesterday, Steve, that, this is a moment that is really surreal for many people in the U.S. that never felt like we would ever go through or experience a coup. Basically, a coup which would take down a duly elected president of the United States by another individual. Now, I will tell you, and I've said this very publicly, if you're going to stage a coup, you better kill the king. And in this case, they were not able to kill the king, meaning, Donald Trump. And I'm just metaphorically using that because he's not a king. He's the president of the United States. But twice, we have seen twice assassination attempts on him, very public assassination attempts on him. You know, many people don't know of the other threats against his life. So they were not able to do that. They also, in my case, and I'll speak specifically from me, you know, I went through hell. My family went through hell, but they picked the wrong Irishman and they picked the wrong Irish family because we knew from the very beginning, you know, and Steve, I don't think we realized when we were first in the White House in the early days of 2017, just how deep these people and how much they were willing to go. And now what we're learning, and I've known this, I've just written just published a book on it called Pardon of Innocence, because Trump had to use his pardon power to pardon an innocent man. Most people think I spent time in jail and was convicted. And, you know, my case was dismissed because of egregious government misconduct. So we now, you know, do I feel vindicated? I will feel vindicated when I see Barack Obama get, you know, have
Amen.
Handcuffs on, being escorted from his house and being brought into jail. I would say right now, if I were in the Department of Justice, or if I was in the White House, I would demand that the Attorney General immediately take away the passports from these individuals who we know have already been named. And there's some others that have not been named yet. Take away the passports. Do not allow them to leave this country, because I guarantee they're waking up, you know, this morning saying, where can I go? We got to get the hell out of here, because they committed a massive, massive conspiracy to undermine and overthrow the United States of America, the United States government, the president of the United States, and the presidency. And they left a wake in their path that is unprecedented, as Jack, as Pozo just highlighted. I mean, this is so bad. And anyway, what I want to do is I want people to understand that, look, I'm not giving up. We have got now to seek justice. And our rule of law system, Steve, has got to kick in.
Just saying. Share this. Obama never intended for there to be a peaceful transfer of power. He had already ordered the unmasking of General Flynn, coincidentally, and wiretapping of Trump Tower before he said it. All roads lead directly to Obama.
We'll have more to say tomorrow.
Our constitutional democracy enshrines.
Yeah, we saw this. I don't want to see this again. For years, I heard the saying, the first arrest will shock the world. Well, if you really want to shock the world, arrest Barack Obama. Follow James Comey and Susan Rice. America needs us justice. Show us that we aren't a banana republic, that nobody is above the law.
Fox News alert, we just got a peek inside Obama's black book, and it turns out Barack knew the Russia hoax was a hoax all along, but pushed it anyway to sabotage the Trump presidency. DNI Tulsi Gabbard declassifying pages and pages of documents, showing Obama's intel guys briefed him just weeks after the 2016 election that the Russians...
I'm sure you've heard enough of this. But let's read what does this say? How many truthers got banned on different platforms for saying this back when this happened? FBI, Twitter, TV, so many times. Is that TV? Can't read that. I can't read that. So many times I lost the count. Libs called us crazy conspiracy theorists. Clint was as right then as yesterday. One day we will realize that the Barack Obama presidency was the biggest fraud ever penetrated on the American people. Clint Eastwood. Why did Obama and his allies go to such extremes, possibly even treason, to sabotage Trump before he took office? Because Trump wasn't just a political threat. He was a threat to everything that they were hiding. They opposed Tulsi because he knows what the Democrats did. Imagine that. Let's see who you really are. Yeah, well, if it isn't our old friend, President Obama. Wanted for treason. Now, slow down, folks. Treason? You don't even know if I'm American. The man behind the curtain. All roads lead to Obama. Now that Russia collusion is a proven lie, when do all these people go go to jail? When do the trials for treason begin? I'm sure most of America, especially people with common sense that love this country, are wondering. We want to know. Is anyone going to get arrested? There better be. Breaking news. Hillary Clinton paid spies to infiltrate Trump White House. Anyone who pays attention, you don't say. On all of them. Look at this. All roads lead to Obama. Before my presidency, there was no ISIS. There was no caliphate. There was no Black Lives Matter. There was no Antifa. There was no war on police. Yeah, I built that. Obama! I'm just saying. Anyway, let me get rid of this because it is no longer random shit on X. I want to give my 2 cents before saying adieu. Sorry. I am by myself, so I got to do everything myself. Sometimes it takes a little longer to load. Come on. What? I'm back. Anyway. Yeah. You know, as I was saying earlier, everything after what we just heard over the weekend, anything that the liberal media has been saying, everything, and I mean everything. Nazi, threat to democracy, Hitler, rapist, misogynistic, conspiracy theorists. We all were. White supremacy. Everything in the last 10 years, maybe before, if anybody's still following that, they're traitors. If anyone still believes this bullshit, you're fucking idiots. Sorry for swearing. But it's coming out. And shit's about to hit the fan. And shit is about to hit every single liberal media asshole, piece of dirt, traitor that has been against everything American, everything Trump, everything. It's crazy, huh? This is just me on nobody saying what I'm saying. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, the shit about it is, I've told you before, I have family who, you know, Trump's racist, Trump's this, let's not talk politics. Then post parroted shit from liberal media on their social media, and it drives me nuts. But liberal media needs to not only apologize, which they never will, but yeah, they need to like fall in line and admit, figure out a way to do it. They'll figure out a way. They're bullshitters. They'll figure out a way if they're smart, if they want ratings, if they want to survive, because I am sure thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, of Americans that were on the other side after what just happened and shit that's going to keep happening. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they don't love this country enough to realize that they've been duped into dyeing their hair, going against everything Trump talks about, everything he's done. I don't know. Let's see how many people flip. Let's see how many people wake up. Let's see how many people walk away. I mean, then in the next week, I hope, if there's that many people that love this country, a swath of freaking walkaway videos. Well, you know, my hair was purple, it was blue, and shit hit my face. Especially after this weekend. As I said, more to come. Hope you guys enjoyed my video. Shit's crazy, and it's about to get crazier. Huh. Anyway, let me start getting ready to get out of here. I don't work the rest of the day. I am off. So what I'm going to do is just pay attention to see what's going on. See who else says what I'm saying. Maybe nobody. As I said, I am a nobody. Don't have a lot of subscribers. Don't have a lot of followers. I don't make money out of this at all. And usually I'm a funny guy. I try to be. try to share funny shit. A lot of times when I do, I post links in the description. My email is in the description. If you want to help the channel out, help us grow, share us. Me. It's no us, it's just me. The only us is my computer, my phone, and my cup of coffee. Yeah, it's Spider-Man. I already know, Spider-Man. And, as I said before, this channel is not just breaking news because it never really is, unless you haven't heard it. But I like to make fun of shit. As the bottom says, your source for nonsensical exploitation. I'm going to find shit and make fun of it. I'm going to be a clown a lot of times. But this shit over the weekend, it was like a headbanger. Like, wow. I always believed Gabbard was a great pick. I think Hegseth was an amazing pick. I'm glad he went through RFK. I mean, the cabinet is like superstar Justice League. And we're not even 60% into the year yet. First year. It's crazy. Anyway, please like, share, subscribe, follow, do what you got to do. Love you guys. If you got any comments, please write me. If you were on the other side and you saw me, if you haven't cleaned the poop off your face, or if you have, let me know what you think. If you're a libturd and you actually watch the whole video and are no longer thinking like a libturd, write me. Let me know some stuff. Anyway, love you guys. Stay true to the red, white, and blue. And Trump was right about everything. Just saying. Ladies.